Hello, I'm Mitch Pal, and today I bring you another video. Today, we are going to be painting a Grey Knight Terminator. Specific reason is so I have a color scheme for a future project. Maybe next week or the week after, I'm not too sure yet, depending on what bits come in. But yeah, we're going to paint a Grey Knight Terminator. I keep editing this off camera because it was a passion project sort of situation. I had a spark of genius and forgot to record it completely. So that's on me. It is just a Terminator with some Grey Knight Terminator bits to it. I think the only thing that's Grey Knight Terminator is the wrist-mounted bolter, the storm bolter, the chest plate, the head, and then I think the ribbon is the purity seal is Citadel Base Grey Knight Steel. I use this as a base coat because of course I do. Why would I change up what works well? So using the airbrush to applicate this, I just sprayed over the entire model, drowning it. I may have watered it down a little too much, but that's alright. Also, shoulder pads are Grey Knight Terminator as well. And the Iron Halo is from the Gravis Captain. Citadel contrast frost hard, watered down heavily to more of a glaze than anything, so it sort of sits in recesses. Only problem is I've had this model sitting for a long while, so a lot of the recesses are kind of full of dust. Even with my best efforts of clearing them out, there is still dust there, so that's on me. I do apologize. The next Grey Knight I do will definitely not have that problem. Gain color, glorious gold. I use this on the trim, iconography, the reliquary in the chest, the details of the shoulder pads, sword, his halo thing. Is it really? Would it be considered a halo? I think it's a halo. It's from the Gravis Captain. I'm not 100% sure. AK acrylic color, black red. I use this to base coat anything that I'm going to do red. Which is the storm bolter, a little bit of the books. I'm going to leave those two. I'm not going to do too much work on the little bits of the books. And I will take off the left shin pad because I'm going to do something about that. I don't like it being so bland, so I'm going to do some extra work with that. Citadel Base Dryad Bark. I do take some time to try and figure out how I'm going to do this, but I basically segmented it into 3 parts. Brown, red, brown. Reason is because I'm going to do tan, red, tan, and I'm going to highlight them all the way through. I just need the masking tape to give me a rough line because it was an odd shape. And then try and get it into a rough sense where it fits evenly. It was a pain. I don't do this stuff often. AK gain color, Scarlet Blood. AK acrylic color, black red. Watered down heavily into sort of a wash contrasty color, and then flipping the model upside down, I start dragging all the color to the top, so the gradient is semi good enough, and then doing the similar steps to the bolter. Storm bolter. Well, is it storm? Yeah, it's a storm bolter. Then using gain color Scarlet Blood to highlight this to the degree I enjoy. This is sort of like the highlight, and then I'm going to come in with a edge highlight soon enough. But I do the same thing. I water it down, and I just drag it towards the tip, or where I want the brightest highlights. To key with that transition. Is it perfect? No. Could I have done it with an airbrush? Absolutely. But did I? No. Model Citadel Base Dryad Bark, Model Air, US Desert Armor. I use this for the tan on the books, the purity seals, the shin, of course the shin, the books on the shoulder pads, and I think that's it I use it on. I'm like 80% sure I used it on all that. If anything else pops up, I'll tell you. Add more model air ivory. Using this as to sort of highlight it a little bit more, I did the same step again, focusing towards the harder edges so the transition looks great. And surprisingly, I didn't mind this little way I've done the purity seals. I can improve it, absolutely. But now I use this sort of line scratchy pattern for the shins, and I'm adding model air aged white to the mix. I use that as a highlight to try and get the brightest, and I sort of use it as like a blending color, which is a bit of a mistake, but that's on me. I also use it on the robes, not the robes, the purity seals, the books. I'm considering the massive robe thing. It's not robe, but you know what I mean. Gain color, scarlet blood, fluorescent orange. I use this mixture as a highlight, the edge highlight. I use it very subtly on the very tip of the shin pad, and that does that. Army Painter Flesh Wash. I use this to wash the gold, to give it a nice sort of vibrancy and more orange, like more pop to it. It worked out really nice in my opinion. Then using it also on the shin pad and like the row and the purity seals, just sort of how do I put it? Bring it all together, I guess is kind of the best way I can put it. Army Painter Fur Brown. I use this for the base coat of the skin. I do take my time to get everywhere properly. I'm starting to get a little bit better at the consistency I need for certain paints. I'm not perfect, I'll admit that. But I'm getting a bit better. I probably put maybe 4 hours into this model, I think it was. About 4 hours, if not longer. I don't think it was 6. Army Painter Fur Brown Barbarian Flesh. I use this as a highlight color for the skin. I focus more on the raised edges and more of the raised detail. Though I do come in and hit certain areas that I think need it. Is it perfect? No. But it is relatively accurate to what I need it. Army Painter Warlock Purple, aka acrylic color Black Red. I use this to put a drop in the mouth, and then I clean up the rest. Is this necessary? Probably not. But I did want the mouth at least red. Is it perfect? No. But it works well enough for what I need it. Army Painter Flesh Wash. I use this to shade the skin and to make it a little bit nicer looking. Sort of drag all the colours together. And dap my finger on the top to sort of give the forehead its chrome dome. Because there's no way to do it as a hairline underneath that hood. Because it is skin tight. Army Painter Desert Yellow. I use this to highlight the little swords on the Grey Knight's pauldrons. Well, shoulder pads. Because I didn't like how they just kept blending in. So I wanted to make them pop a little bit more than normal. And this is my solution for that. AK acrylic color Volcanic Yellow. I use this as a highlight color. Now, could I have done this sword in just like a metallic grey, metallic, or a silver? Probably. Did I? No. Because then I like this look. It looks alright, in my opinion. It ain't perfect, but it looks good enough. Army Painter Matte White. Watered down heavily to be a wash consistency or a contrast, depending on how you want to look at it. It's more of a contrast than anything, a little bit of a watery contrast, but does work to its needed degree. You will notice there is decals on that shin pad. I will cover the decals at the end of the video. Game color fluorescent blue citadel contrast frost heart. I use this mixture to get me a nice vibrant bright blue for the psychic feel. And I've put that on all the eyes of the skull because why not? And his little palm of his hand. Because by law, all Grey Knights are psychics as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure there isn't. I'm pretty sure I'm inaccurate on that one, but as far as I'm concerned, it's cool enough. Army Painter Matte Black for the base. Nothing too crazy. I'm just going for a very simple wet blend for the base. Nothing crazy. And I hit these little, like, servos. Not servo, the carapace. The black carapace under the armor. Add Army Painter Matte White. You just add that on top and just go over the top of it. Again, wet blending, it's not... Is it supposed to be pretty? No. That's kind of the idea. It is a disgusting desert, like, death world. Chaos has corrupted it and it's just crap. No life, no dirt, just stone and petrification. I feel like that's a very fitting idea for the base. Will I do it for the next one? Probably not. Decals! What the hell? I use the Space Marine I believe it's the new current Intercessors decal sheet, and I just steal pretty much 3 sheets worth of decals. Because I am hopeless. So I go about just decaling up the shin. Now, word of advice, you can do this if you want to. I didn't because I was lazy. Good idea is to get a wet paper towel, drain it out of all water in it. Like just like squish it until it's still damp but no water actually leaking out of it. And crush the decals against the surface. That would have helped me a lot because I do lose the large one at the bottom and the front. And I have to replace it, which I'm annoyed with. I could have probably found another one. But did I think that far ahead? No. So yeah, recommendation, definitely get like a wet paper towel. And just squeeze the wet paper towel until it's just like crush the wet paper towel on your desk or whatever till there's like no water leaking out of it. Then go and crush it, press it against the decals, pressing them against it so it's surfaced, stuck there, and then immediately put gloss varnish over it. Not gloss varnish, varnish of any sort. You do gloss, whatever. Do varnish. It helps so much. I use about 3 decal sheets for all of these because I wanted to try and do them again because I don't like painting purity seals. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Simple as that. That's how I've always seen it. This worked surprisingly well. I mean, if you got the time, if you don't want to paint thousands of squiggly lines, it works. Granted, there are sections that look a bit poor, but that's not too bad in my book. It definitely is it is definitely an acquired taste, something like that. And here's the final results. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, why is my thing not working anymore? Okay, there we go. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you want to see more like this, please consider liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell so you never miss another video. I am so close to 500 subscribers. Please help me get there. There's like, I think at the current time, I'll even check it. I'm going to go look at my YouTube studio app. As of current time, as of right bloody now, I am currently at, it is currently the it's the 17th of July, Friday. I'm currently sitting at 408